Detroit broke my heart, and it wasn't in a good way. Hey everyone, it's Sharana from Pay or Wait, and today I will be reviewing the movie Detroit. So Detroit was directed by Catherine Bigelow. You know her from Zero Dark 30 and The Hurt Locker. And this movie basically centers around the Detroit race riots of 1967. And a bulk of the movie covers the incident at the Algiers Motel, which was actually on the fourth night of the riots that lasted for 5 days. So during this incident, basically, police officers thought that there was a sniper in the hotel, and when they went to interrogate people, the result of the entire ordeal that lasted all night was 3 young black teens were murdered and 9 people were beaten and tortured during the entire ordeal. This one's going to be a little bit different because I'm still very, I would say, upset and just kind of I just don't understand like what they were like trying to convey with this movie. The performances from the actors, John Boyega, Will Poulter, Algie Smith, they did a great job. There is nothing bad that I have to say for anybody who acted in this film. I think they did a great job with the script that was given to them. Excellent performances. But one of the main issues that I have with this movie will have to be kind of the story. The entire time I really just didn't know what was the point of the film. Now, if the point of the film was just to tell you what happened during that horrible night, then they definitely did what they were supposed to do. But one of the issues that I had is their portrayal of the riots. You know, the riots kind of started after the police broke up, you know, a club and arrested people in Detroit. And then later that day, the riots began, and they kind of opened it up with that. And before, I was really happy with how the movie started because they went through the Great Migration. They talked about the Great Migration and went through the illustrations from Jacob Lawrence. But what they were missing was actually like what got us to this point of people actually looting and burning their own neighborhoods. Like what did that tension look like? What was the climate of the area in Detroit? And I feel like they missed the mark with tying us into how these riots started. Because to be honest, they jump right into it and kind of just make you feel, okay, these random people are looting and burning their neighborhoods, but I really don't understand why, and it just kind of looks crazy, and I don't get the point. And you know, also too, there's no emotional connection to any of the characters. Now, the movie is emotional because you will be angry and upset after you see what happens to the characters in at the Algiers, but there's no backstory for anyone but maybe one character played by Algie Smith, which is Larry, who was a singer in a group. And it's pretty much the only person who you really know anything about their life prior to this incident in the hotel. And I feel that connection into who these characters were outside of just this horrible night, I really thought that they could have dived a little bit more into it. And even the scenes in the hotel, it was a tad bit long for me, and maybe that's because I was just missing the emotional connection with the characters. But one of my other biggest issues with this film will have to be the portrayal of racism. I mean, you have to think about it. The racial tensions had to be very bad to get to the point where people were rioting for 5 days. And I don't understand how you can make a film about racism and they say the N-word one time. There was just dialogue that didn't even make sense. Like in one of the scenes, without giving the movie away, a white officer finds one of the beaten characters and they were just like, oh my gosh, who in the world would do something like this? Like what? Like that's not realistic. Like the cops were like, not all the cops, but most of the cops were racist. I mean, there had to be a lot of racism going on to get to the point where, you know, you had cops who like murdered these people in cold blood for no reason and they got away with it. So you mean to tell me that all the officers were like, oh my gosh, guys, this really sucks that this happened. Let me help you out. Like, that's just not, it wasn't realistic to me. It's not realistic. There was even a scene where one of the people who was beaten, they make this whole little speech like, y'all don't care about me. This is injustice. Like, forget F police, all this stuff. And I'm just like, sir, this is like the 1960s. This was not straight out of Compton. You can't be saying F the police and you just walking out being all big, bad, and bold in front of like presumably mostly racist cops. Like, that just wasn't believable to me. I was just like, the whole time I was watching this movie, I was just like, is this the PG-13 like version of racism? Like, hey, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. And I just feel like the movie really missed the mark for me. I mean, it's not a bad movie. Like I said, the performances were good. There's nothing wrong with the acting of this film, but the poor portrayal of the lead up to the riots of what happened in Detroit, I think that was a major key point that was missing. And then the long focus into the incident at the Algiers, and then they go into this whole courtroom quick, like, oh, let me wrap this up real quick. Like, we covered the incident, and let's cover the court case and how that happened. It just seemed really choppy. It just seemed like, you know, they were trying to just scratch, like, check the box with, okay, we did this, we did this, we did that. We cover all the main points of it. Okay, and good. And it didn't work. And there was a lot of people who were upset when they left the theaters. I was upset. I actually saw this movie 2 times, thinking that the second time I would feel a little bit better about the film, but I didn't. And because of that, I would have to say that you wait to see this film in theater. I wouldn't see it in the theaters. I wouldn't waste my money. And I don't think it's an accurate portrayal of everything that was happening. You know, and also too, a lot of the evidence was taken away that dealt with this particular incident, which is there was a lot of things that they had to fill in. And I could tell that, like, I can tell that some of the stuff was kind of just like, okay, well, let's just do this because it makes for good drama. And it really didn't convince me in the audience. And I think that the reason why it hurt so bad that they failed to do that was this movie really had the potential to help people understand some of the social issues that we have now, because watching the movie, you're kind of just like, this is uncomfortable, but it's more uncomfortable because some of this stuff is still happening today. And I feel that when you make movies about incidents of racism or anything that was going through that time, there has to be a message that you want to convey, something that you want to the audience, people, you don't want them just to leave feeling angry, as that's how I left. I felt angry about the situation or what happened. You want to leave them with a message of how do we move forward from this? Like, what does change look like now going forward as we re-examine the past and compare it to what's happening present day? And I really just think that they missed the mark for that. And because of that, I can't tell you guys to go see this movie. I don't even understand why this movie is getting so many like great reviews, because it was just bad. Like, so many people were mad. It was bad. Stop it. This movie was not that good. Stop lying to these people. Like, it's not okay. But as always, this is Sharana from Pay Your Weight. If you like what you saw today, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and share it with your friends. And I will see you soon.